You ever got down behind your rifle and had troubles getting your length of pull and, just your sight picture and all that to line up correctly? It's like when you're prone, you can hardly see through the thing. There's scope shadow everywhere. But as soon as you go up to a barricade or some sort of positional type thing, you can see just fine. And you're trying to figure out, like, how do I set this thing up? Where do I set it up? And this all comes from a Facebook post that I saw, which are like gold mines for video ideas, because people ask questions and 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, they get mocked or laughed at for their questions, but occasionally there are very helpful people in there. And the question was asked basically that: how do I get all these things set up? Where do I set up my rifle for best length of pull and field of view and all these things, or sight picture? Do I set it up from barricades and positional, because that's how I'm going to be doing it most of the time in PRS style matches? Or do I set it up from prone? And I want to cover that today. So I'm going to give you a couple of things to think about. And yes, we are in my shop. The weather is nasty outside, so you get a little bit of a weird view today, but I don't need to shoot for this kind of a video. So here we go. First thing is, let's separate our scope placement on the rail from our length of pull adjustment, okay? I think it's important to do that. I think a lot of times people get their scope set first and then try to mess with length of pull. I personally think it should be the other way around. At the end of the day, if you're out there crushing it and you're getting hits and you've done something different to set up your rifle, hey, more power to you. But I want to make sure that what I'm doing is consistent with proper fundamentals, and one of those proper fundamentals is how my trigger finger addresses the trigger. And I've learned that you want a kind of a 90 degree, I can't make my finger do 90 degree, but you want a 90 degree straight back press with no kind of tension added into that or anything, so that the way that you address the trigger then is to have your hand in a placement that allows your trigger finger to be 90 degrees comfortably, and your wrist isn't all bound up in one way or the other, creating tension in your system. So when we go to get on our rifle, these things are going to slide like crazy on here. I won't be able to create my bridge correctly. But so let's just say I'm wanting to set up my length of pull. I want to get my wrist comfortable on the rifle. I want to make sure that my trigger finger placement is good. Also, I'm just, making sure you guys know this is clear. Let's set that first and get our butt pad pieces, whatever it might be. These usually come with inserts on most stocks, and especially chassis that are fully adjustable. But I end up needing a very short length of pull on most rifles that I shoot. And so I tend to take out most of these spacers. Now this Manners is a little bit different than that, and I'm able to leave more of those in. But length of pull needs to be adjusted here, whether you have to add padding, maybe you have to take your buttstock on your hunting rifle and take that pad completely off. I know that sounds awful, but maybe you have to in order to get proper fundamentals, right? Or there's some other thing that you can do. Maybe you have to shave off some padding on the rear of that thing, whatever it might be, in order to get proper placement of your hand and your trigger finger on the rifle, okay? So that's one thing. Make sure you set your length of pull first. And then when you go to, there we go. Then when you go to look through your scope, you want to place your scope on your rail so that when you're in the prone and your magnification is zoomed all the way in, and you lay your cheek down on your cheek rest at the proper height, you just, boom, you have a full and complete sight picture right there in that placement. Okay, now my bipod is a little bit low. Here's another thing. Okay, another tip for you guys is that sometimes, especially kind of big dudes, you want to get your bipod legs extended a little bit higher into a more comfortable position. I know for years it was always said, the lower the better. Get as close to the ground as you can. Well, then what you get is you get something like this, right? Where you're trying to like crane your neck and your head down to get as low as you can and still see through, and your neck won't bend. And especially if you have any kind of mobility issues, that's going to be a problem. So what you can do is just come and just lift your bipod up a couple of notches. Okay, get up. Uh-oh, just bumped my camera. Okay, so you get a couple of notches up higher on your rifle. Frank Galley has said this a ton. It's like when you're a little kid and you're watching Saturday morning cartoons and you're laying on your stomach on the floor. How did you do it, right? You're like this, right? Just like an upright position like this. It's easy to rest like this. This height is way different than trying to get way down on a rifle. So get those bipod legs extended just a little bit and get this thing up in a more comfortable position for you so that your head can be more upright, okay? You could also get higher rings or bases, okay? There's no need to make sure that your scope is as close to the barrel as possible. That's no longer a thing, guys, so you can let that go, okay? It doesn't matter. You can get these rings and bases a little bit higher to help you get in a more comfortable position. Now I've got length of pull, right? I've got a comfortable and accurate, according to fundamentals, trigger finger placement. My bipod is slightly higher so that I don't have to crane my neck quite as much. And on the prone, I'm on full magnification and I've got a full sight picture, okay? And then when you go to your positional and all that kind of stuff, you're just gonna back out your magnification a little bit to open up that field of view. And there really shouldn't be that much difficulty in you getting a proper sight picture through your scope. Some of you may be wondering what I choose for a rear bag. I don't like to use my Game Changer or a barricade bag if I can help it. So I like to do some sort of a cylindrical rear bag, a specific rear bag, and I choose this Coltac one. And on that note, you can get the wax canvas will be like this from Coltac, 10% off. If you use code PRN10, you can get 10% off anything that Coltac sells, like a good rear bag from those guys. So just want to throw that out there. That's it. That's a tip for today. Hopefully that helps. Guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more great content from Precision Rifle Network. And if you're interested in more tips and tricks and online training, we now have an online masterclass, bunch of videos that we've made, 19 now and counting. Go to precisionriflenetwork.com and see if that might be a good fit for you. So thanks for watching this video, guys. We'll see you in the next one.